Writing. The moment the bright red Ferrari rolled silently into the service yard for the 100th time, everyone stopped pretending it would ever run again. For 5 long years, the world's finest engineers, championship mechanics, and luxury performance experts had tried everything. More than $2 million had disappeared into endless diagnostics, rare replacement parts, secret prototypes, and impossible experiments. Yet the legendary machine remained nothing more than an expensive sculpture. Its owner, Serafina Vale, had built a billion-dollar technology company through determination and brilliance. But this single car had become the one challenge that mocked her every single day. Then, in broad daylight, standing beside polished marble floors with a mop in his hands, a quiet janitor looked at the silent Ferrari with calm eyes that noticed something nobody else had ever seen. Before we continue this unforgettable journey, if you believe kindness, respect, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video. Leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Corner so you never miss another heartwarming story. Serafina had purchased the Ferrari because it had once belonged to her late father, a gifted mechanic who had dreamed of restoring it before illness took him away. She spent years chasing that dream, believing that if the engine could roar again, a piece of her father would somehow return. Every specialist she hired promised miracles. Every famous garage displayed confidence. Every report ended the same way. The engine refused to come alive. Some blamed hidden electronic failures. Others insisted the chassis carried damage beyond repair. Eventually, the Ferrari became famous across the automotive world as the impossible machine. Wealthy collectors offered to buy it as a museum piece, but Serafina refused every offer because giving up felt like abandoning the last promise she had made to her father. Her headquarters became home to the motionless Ferrari, displayed inside a spotless glass garage where employees passed it every morning. It quietly reminded everyone that even unlimited money could not solve every problem. Over time, frustration hardened Serafina's heart. She became less patient, less trusting, and more distant from the people around her. Success surrounded her, yet happiness slowly disappeared behind endless meetings and impossible expectations. Working quietly in the same building was a 58-year-old janitor named Aldrin Mercer. Most employees barely noticed him. Every morning before sunrise, he cleaned hallways, polished windows, emptied trash bins, and greeted everyone with the same gentle smile. His uniform was simple, his shoes were worn, and his hands carried the rough marks of decades of honest work. Unknown to nearly everyone, Aldrin had once spent 20 years rebuilding racing engines in a small family workshop before losing everything when a devastating flood destroyed the business he had inherited from his father. Unable to recover financially, he accepted janitorial work with gratitude instead of bitterness, believing that dignity came from character rather than job titles. One sunny afternoon, Serafina stood staring silently at the Ferrari after another internationally respected engineer admitted defeat. Exhausted by disappointment, she noticed Aldrin carefully wiping fingerprints from the nearby glass. Without thinking, she laughed bitterly and remarked that perhaps the janitor should try fixing it since everyone else had failed. Several executives nearby smiled with quiet amusement, expecting the moment to end there. Instead, Aldrin respectfully studied the Ferrari from a distance, asking only for permission to inspect it without touching anything at first. Something about his calm confidence made the room strangely quiet. For nearly an hour, Aldrin simply observed. He watched reflections across the engine bay, listened to tiny movements while the car was gently pushed, and noticed details everyone else had overlooked because they had relied too heavily on expensive computers. He eventually requested a basic flashlight, an old mechanic's mirror, and a simple hand tool. The executives exchanged skeptical glances, but Serafina, having nothing left to lose, agreed. As daylight poured through the workshop windows, Aldrin patiently examined hidden areas no scanner had ever questioned. He finally discovered a microscopic alignment flaw inside a custom component that had been replaced incorrectly years earlier, during one of the earliest repair attempts. Every expert afterward had unknowingly built their diagnoses upon that original mistake. The engine itself had never been the true problem. A single overlooked imperfection had quietly defeated millions of dollars worth of technology. The correction took less than 2 careful hours. Silence filled the garage as Aldrin gently turned the ignition key. For one breathtaking moment, nothing happened. Then the Ferrari awakened with a deep, smooth roar that echoed through the building. Employees rushed from offices. Mechanics stared in disbelief. Some applauded while others simply stood frozen. Serafina covered her face as tears streamed down her cheeks. It was not just an engine coming back to life. It sounded like hope returning after years of heartbreak. She asked Aldrin why he had succeeded when the world's greatest experts had failed. His answer remained beautifully simple. He explained that many people had tried to prove how much they knew, but very few had slowed down enough to truly listen to what the machine was quietly trying to say. Experience mattered, but humility mattered even more. That single afternoon transformed both their lives. Instead of offering only a financial reward, Serafina created an apprentice engineering program inspired by Aldrin's journey, inviting skilled workers from overlooked backgrounds to share their knowledge with young engineers. Maintenance staff, retired mechanics, factory workers, and forgotten craftsmen finally received respect they had deserved for decades. Innovation inside the company flourished because every voice was now welcomed, regardless of job title. Aldrin remained humble despite worldwide attention. He continued greeting people with the same warm smile each morning, proving that greatness never requires arrogance. Serafina finally drove her father's Ferrari along a peaceful countryside road under a bright blue daytime sky, feeling the engine sing with quiet strength. For the first time in years, she realized the greatest repair had not happened beneath the hood. It had happened inside her own heart. If this story reminded you that kindness and respect can uncover extraordinary people hiding in ordinary places, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and tell us what part touched your heart the most. Special request: please comment below with one person in your life whose quiet kindness deserves to be recognized today. The Ferrari became famous once again, but not because it was rare or expensive. It became a lasting reminder that true talent can wear simple clothes, that wisdom often works in silence, and that sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the very one capable of changing everything. And on that bright, beautiful day, one humble janitor proved that the greatest victories begin not with wealth or status, but with patience, compassion, and the courage to believe that no one should ever be underestimated.